All right, everyone, what's up? What's up? It's Adam, and in today's review, I'm going to be reviewing the Jaybird Vista 2s. Now, to kind of give some context about Jaybird and just really headphones in general and sports style earbuds and this and that, I never really paid attention to Jaybird. I highly underestimated them, and this already changed my mind. I actually kind of felt bad I haven't reviewed a Jaybird product in the past or anything because these things are killer. So let's get into the review. Hopefully this helps. And thanks for watching ahead of time. So for starters, let's get into the sound quality of these because that was the thing I noticed right off the bat just because that's the first thing I did with these. And when listening to music, it doesn't matter what I was listening to. It could be Meek Mill, Big Sean, Eminem, it could be Tool, it could be Deftones, Rage Against the Machine, it could be classical music, binaural beats, things like that. It could be Jason Mraz and Andy Grammer. I listen to a bunch of different bands and a bunch of different genres. So with all that, all that different types of genres that I named, however I'm trying to say that, that just goes to show that if I'm saying these are good, they're definitely good because I'm really picky about making sure that there's bass, but not to where it drowns out other profiles or other highlights of the music. There's highs, but it's not screeching. There's mids, but it's not distorted, is the best way I can put it. And I'm really impressed with all the different athletes' profiles on equalization that you can use. I can't remember the name, but you'll see it in the screen recording, or if I do, I'll mention it here. But I really like how they do that. Kind of gives you a feel or just some inspiration about how you can listen to your music. So I thought that was dope. Sound quality for sure is there in these. Now let's get into the ANC and surround sense technology in these. So for me, I was thinking, all right, riding my bike a lot now that it's summertime, there's no way. I haven't found a pair of earbuds or headphones or anything that can block out noise well, especially if they're offering ANC because there's more microphones. These have been the best I've used for surround sense technology, as they're calling it, or ambient aware modes, with riding my bike or doing any task to where I want to hear my surroundings. And I say that probably because of the cloth or the material that they have built in, or just the technology and hardware period, that it sounds natural. It sounds like I don't have earbuds in. So for me, I'm really impressed with that because a lot of earbuds sound artificial, or it just drowns out too much of what you're listening to where you're like, man, I don't even want to use that. I don't want to even use ambient aware or surround sense in this sense. That sounded funny, but I do all the time. Every time I ride my bike especially. So the advertisements they have are no joke. These kill it when it comes to that. Now, as far as the ANC goes, I've used these for multiple purposes, whether I'm gardening in the backyard, or I'm going on a bike ride, or I'm in a coffee shop, or I'm just going for a walk, or just chilling in my home. And I have to say, it drowns out quite a bit of freaking noise to where it's not as good as Bose or Sony, but it's competing. It's to the point where if this is the only pair of earbuds, and given the price difference, I would go with these without disappointment when it comes to ANC. So for sure, if you're in a coffee shop or in the gym, conversations are blocked out, people using weights are blocked out, maybe every now and then if it's a high-pitched noise depending on the weights or whatever, but you ain't gonna hear treadmills, you ain't gonna hear people passing by. You might have to look over your shoulder sometimes. Like, I'm telling you, you're gonna be impressed with these. So for me, in my experience, especially using them for more than just working out, I've been impressed with the ANC no matter what I was doing. Hey everyone, quick edit. I noticed with obviously I have these earbuds in my ears right now on a bike ride, but I noticed with ANC on, no wind comes through on the mics. So it's the first time I've used the earbuds where you have ANC and the wind doesn't mess with the mics. The only time it does is if you have surround sense on. Pretty freaking dope. Now let's get into the fit and comfortability of these. So for me, I was thinking because they look a little chunky, they're not gonna fit well, but as long as you get them in there and twist them right, they feel really comfy and they're pretty much not going anywhere. All right, sorry, I had to activate that surround sense because it was just way too loud when I had the ANC on. I was speaking way too loud. So for me, when it comes to how they fit, I mean, it's always weird doing that shake test, but I'm telling you, they're not coming out. And that's the only way I can really show you. Otherwise, you're just taking my word for it. And so I'm willing to bet if you're just doing basic weights or going on a run or a bike ride, I haven't had any loss of confidence that these are going to stay in my ears when I was going on bike rides. And I go on one like every day, the whole time I've been using these. So I would even go as far as saying, even though I don't do this, if you're doing gymnastics or cartwheels and crazy CrossFit or whatever's out there nowadays, you're not going to have any issues. So that little picture of that guy doing the yoga all intensely, man, if you're doing yoga with these, you're going to be just fine. They're going to stay in. And as far as the sensors and things like that, it's really accurate. And as far as it being connected, period, fortunately, you can't do multiple devices. That's a huge letdown. But you can do each earbud solo, and the smart sensors to where you pull it out and it auto pauses and things like that, seamless. No latency in anything when it comes to calls, when it comes to just listening to music or YouTube content, Amazon Prime, whatever I've listened to, Apple Music, whatever it is, didn't notice any latency or connection issues. So no weird static where it just kind of makes a weird noise like it's trying to reconnect. None of that. I would say it's actually preferable that you don't try to connect to your computer with them, even though you can. But if you do have multiple devices connected, I have my Apple Watch, my MacBook, and my iPhone. If you just tap to connect to one of those, it connects seamlessly. It just says device switched or whatever, connection switched, and boom, you're ready to go. But with how good that app is, before I get more in detail, I think it's just best just to have it in your head that, yeah, using it on my smartphone, especially utilizing the app, is going to be the best thing to do. Now let's get into the controls of these, and I'll show you the pamphlet here just to make sure I don't get anything wrong on exactly how the controls work. But one thing that kind of surprised me is I was thinking it was going to be manual, just pushing it in for volume or press and hold this and that. But I really did like and was surprised that you can do a double tap on either earbud to cycle through your surround sense, your off, or your ANC. So for me, them coming up with that, double tapping instead of pressing an actual physical button in the earbud, is really innovative. It makes it just feel like you have something different. Instead of having to switch it into controls or to have something outside of the earbud to compensate for that. So it doesn't matter if I was long pressing for volume or if I was double tapping to cycle through my surround sense, ANC, etc., or if I was pressing to play, pause, or skip tracks. While riding my bike, I notice this the most. It's so easy that it's not an inconvenience. It's not like the Bose SoundSport Freeze, where those, you really have to press down. Or maybe, I can't remember the name of them, but Sony had a pair of true wireless earbuds that came out last year that just weren't that good for sport. I didn't like the way they fit, and with using the controls, there was a lot of glitches. So for me, as far as sport use, if you're doing something active at the same time using the functionality of these, they nailed that too. I have no complaints. I kind of hinted towards it earlier, but now let's get into a microphone test. All right, microphone test of the Jaybird Vista 2s just in a quiet office. In my quiet office, the only thing running is my AC unit, but that's a little bit down the hall, so test 1, 2. All right, for the review, this is the Jaybird Vista 2's microphone test in a real coffee shop. All right, so I just ride my bike. All right, last but not least, let's get into something underappreciated but very important as well, and that's the battery life. So 24 hours in total, 8 hours with the earbuds out of the case, 5 minutes gets you an hour, USB-C and wireless charging. Other design features, I gotta say it's matte and just feels really smooth. I don't know. I don't know how to use this. Really not much else to say besides the case being small enough to where I put it in my pocket all the time. Unless I have my bag on me when I'm going for a bike ride or whatever. But even if you're just casually going for a bike ride and you don't want to bring a lot of stuff with you, this case is small enough to where I have no issues with the case or anything. I have to say it's really hard to find something to complain about with these, except for the flaw of no multi-device connection. But I don't think that's really a big flaw for a lot of people, especially for what these are designed for, what they're marketed for, and just what you're supposed to be using them for, and that's sport, being active, etc. So I highly recommend these. $199. Yes, I did pay for them. I'm not cool enough for Jaybird yet. Maybe one day I will be, but for now, yes, I did buy it. So I'm really impressed. Jaybird did an awesome job. Have no complaints. My favorite pair of sport earbuds I've used so far, and even though I've used a lot, I mean, I gotta say for anything under $200, the JBL Reflect Mini NCs I've loved those things for a long time. But I'm gonna have to retire those for a while and keep using these. That's just the way it is, especially when you have a new product. So I'll probably be using these for my sports activities and just riding my bike all summer long and until the fall. To good health, I hope all is well. I'll see you on the next one.